This one goes out to those renters that are looking to buy and that are just trying to figure out, number one, can you do it? You know, in some situations, depending on what market you are in and maybe what type of good, rental agreement you have with your landlord. I mean, sometimes some renters are paying some good cheap rents, and they don't want to leave their scenario, but they know that we really want to buy. And that's the next step. And we're trying to create wealth. And, how do we do this? So whether you're coming from, a really good opportunity, if you're renting, I find a lot of first-time home buyers that look at the option, okay, what type of advantages or what are the pros and cons in jumping in and owning, versus renting? And there's a couple things that you could go down and you can discuss for hours and hours, just the differences and the pros and cons on rent and buy. But there's a couple things that I just want to just share with you that, as you go from renting to buying, what advantages you have and what are some of the things to think about. Okay. So let's just say, for example, you are renting you're paying $2,000 in rent. Okay. So all that $2,000 of rent that you are paying is going to the landlord, and 100% of it is gone the minute that you pay it, right? Okay, so let's compare maybe a $2,000 rent payment to let's just say a $2,600 mortgage payment. That's a big difference. You're talking, $600 a month difference. How does this work? Well, on something like this, let me just walk you through it. You're gonna have a couple of advantages when it comes to owning. One, you're gonna have the tax write-off, okay? All of the interest that you're going to be paying towards your mortgage is going to be a tax write-off, which is huge. Now, with mortgages, a majority of your payment is going to go towards the interest up front. So maybe out of that $2,600, maybe $400 of that is actually going towards your principal to pay the loan down up front. Every month that you pay, and every month that goes by, you're gonna pay more and more principal, in that payment. But let's just say it starts off at $400, okay? So $400 of that payment is going to pay down your mortgage payment, which, if you think about it, it's almost like a forced savings. If you're paying down your mortgage $400 a month, then that balance is going down every month that you make a payment. So it's almost like you're banking $400. It's in a non-liquid account, of course. It's not easy to tap back or grab that money back if you need it, because it's paying down the mortgage. The only way to really get that back is to refinance it out or to sell the house, and now you get the proceeds and the money off the sale. So anyway, so let's say you're around $400 a month. Okay, so that's a forced savings account. Also, the tax write-offs and benefits that you're gonna get is going to be close to and equivalent to another $400 a month. That's going to be write-off. So whether you file your tax returns, you already get a chunk back at the end, you'll get an additional $4,000 or $5,000 back, which is huge. Or you could possibly change your withholdings, so you get a little bit of that back every paycheck, if that makes sense. So you're talking just between, the amount of principal that you're paying down every month, $400, and the amount of tax benefits and savings, $400 a month, that's $800. So you're talking, if you have a $2,600 mortgage and a $2,000 rent payment, you're $800 difference ahead of the game just with those two components. So literally, it's almost a $2,600 mortgage is almost equivalent to an $1,800 rent payment, if that makes sense. So I'm not even getting into, and I haven't gotten into, also the other advantage of when you own your home, you have the ability to ride the market appreciation, right? So let's say you bought that home for $400,000 or $450,000. Well, in 5 years, let's say it's worth $500,000 or $550,000. Literally in 5 years, you might have just made $100,000 in value off of that house, just by nothing else other than living in it and making your payments on time. So, that's another huge advantage, but I think it's important just to understand and recognize that when you go from renting to buying, don't look at the outgo, your payment and just think apples to apples, because it's so much different. Give yourself some room, because literally a $2,000 rent payment is almost like a $2,800 mortgage payment in this scenario. Also, something really cool, you don't go buy a house because of this, but it's kind of awesome, and it's kind of good to know that when you're buying a home, rents are, you pay at the first of the month for the month you're gonna live in. Well, mortgages, they're paid in arrears. So let's just say your December 1st payment, if it's rent, you pay December 1st, but let's say you close in your house in December. Well, you pay in arrears, so your first payment wouldn't be until February 1st. So when you go from renting to buying, you're going to at least skip one house payment, which is kind of nice. It allows you to be able to save up, just get a little bit of cushion because of the time between when you close and when your first payment is due. So a couple key things just to understand, to recognize. There are a ton of advantages, that I haven't talked about. Obviously now it's your own home, you can do what you want, and anything that you fix up or upgrade in the house, that comes back to you, right? Not your landlord. So you can make it yours, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to have somebody watching over or checking in on you or doing, rent checks or anything like that. So anyways, hopefully this has been helpful to you. Hopefully it just has sparked some interest on, wow, I didn't realize, that there is some differences between, your rent payment and your mortgage payment, and what type of advantages that you can take and acquire and just really utilize, when you own a home. So hopefully this has been helpful. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Love to be able to walk you through these things. So anyways, take care. Thanks.